Marshals isn't just about grief and heartbreak, it's about action that hits harder because of everything Casey has lost. The trailer makes it clear. Every chase, every confrontation, every shootout carries the weight of personal stakes. This isn't mindless action for entertainment, it's a reflection of Casey's inner battle, his attempt to balance vengeance, justice, and his role as a father. The tension is constant. We see glimpses of high-intensity scenarios that are amplified not just by danger, but by emotional stakes. Casey doesn't just face criminals, he faces the ghosts of his past, the weight of Monica's death, and the delicate balance of guiding Tate through a world that is more dangerous and complicated than ever before. One of the most compelling elements teased in the trailer is how the series portrays loyalty and brotherhood. Pete Calvin, Casey's former SEAL team leader, is not only a professional ally, he is a constant reminder of the man Casey used to be. Their bond becomes a lifeline in a world where trust is fragile and loss is omnipresent. Pete's presence highlights that Marshals is not only about survival, but also about the resilience of friendships forged in extreme conditions. When danger comes, and it always does, the viewer is reminded that Casey is not entirely alone, even as grief threatens to isolate him. But loyalty comes at a cost. Every mission, every decision forces Casey to confront whether he is protecting those he loves or risking them in the pursuit of justice. Will his choices protect Tate or put him in even greater danger? Tate's evolving role adds another layer of suspense. The trailer hints at moments where the boy might take action on his own, testing boundaries and possibly putting himself in harm's way. These sequences are not just thrilling, they're emotionally charged. The tension between father and son is mirrored in each high-stakes scene. Casey must navigate the dangers of law enforcement while also responding to the emotional needs of a child who has already endured more trauma than most adults can handle. The series promises that Tate's growth, rebellion, and eventual understanding will be one of the most powerful emotional arcs, leaving audiences asking, will he emerge stronger or be consumed by the very world Casey is trying to shield him from? The moral complexity of Marshals deepens as Casey confronts a world that offers no easy answers. Every criminal, every case, every decision forces him to weigh vengeance against justice, personal desire against duty, and survival against ethics. The trailer teases moments of confrontation where Casey must make choices that could alter the lives of everyone around him. With Monica gone, the line between right and wrong becomes blurrier. His actions are no longer guided by love alone. They are tempered by rage, loss, and the heavy burden of protecting Tate. Each mission, each confrontation becomes a test not only of skill, but of moral judgment. How far will Casey go before the darkness consumes him?
The Marshals' Last Scene trailer doesn't just focus on Casey's grief and Tate's struggles. It also hints at a web of new relationships that could either anchor him or pull him further into chaos. One of the most striking elements in the trailer is the introduction of two women who appear to capture Casey's attention in very different ways. Andrea, a Bronx native portrayed by Ash Santos, has a story layered with tension and mystery. Exiled to Montana for speaking the truth, or perhaps for betraying the wrong people, she brings both vulnerability and resilience. Her presence introduces a new dimension of intrigue, especially for Casey. Will she become a source of guidance and emotional grounding, or will her past and principles clash with Casey's uncompromising world of law enforcement and vengeance? Then there's Belle, played by Ariel Kebbel, a former ATF agent whose experience in undercover work and relentless drive make her a wild card in Casey's life. The trailer frames her as enigmatic, intense, and dangerously competent. She may resemble Monica in certain ways, creating a subtle emotional tension that could pull at Casey's heart in ways he never expected. This raises a provocative question. Is Belle a replacement for the love he lost, or a completely new path that challenges him to open his heart after unimaginable loss? The tension between Casey and Andrea hints at the possibility of a love triangle, but not in a shallow sense. This isn't about romantic competition. It's about survival, emotional repair, and the difficult, often painful process of learning to trust again after heartbreak. The dynamic between Casey and these new characters is amplified by the backdrop of extreme danger. In Marshals, emotional vulnerability is never separate from life or death situations. Every moment of connection could be tested by the demands of justice, the unpredictability of criminals, and the lingering shadows of past trauma. As Casey navigates his grief, he also has to navigate relationships that demand patience, honesty, and courage, the very qualities he may struggle to summon in the aftermath of Monica's death. Will he push them away, cling too tightly, or find a balance that allows him to heal while still fulfilling his duty as a father and lawman? Meanwhile, the trailer also emphasizes the importance of old bonds. Thomas and Mo, who played pivotal roles in shaping Casey's spiritual and emotional growth in Yellowstone, are set to return as guides and anchors in this new chapter. Their wisdom and cultural insight may become the foundation Casey needs to navigate Tate's grief and his own unraveling emotional state. But even their presence cannot prevent the turbulence that Monica's absence has unleashed. With every decision, Casey faces a moral and emotional crossroads: protect his son or pursue vengeance, trust new allies or rely only on his instincts, seek emotional healing or bury it beneath the work of the Marshals. Each choice is fraught with danger, not just physically, but psychologically, leaving audiences wondering whether Casey Tate will survive the storm he has stepped into. The tension between Casey and Tate grows increasingly complex. Tate is not just a passive observer of tragedy, he is an active participant, reacting to Monica's death with a mix of fear, anger, and rebellion. The trailer hints at moments where Tate may attempt to assert independence, run off into danger, or test Casey's patience in ways that mirror the challenges he faced as a child in Yellowstone. This dynamic promises to be one of the most compelling emotional arcs of Marshals, a father struggling to guide a son while wrestling with his own overwhelming grief, and a son trying to process loss while navigating his own emerging sense of agency and moral compass. Will Casey's attempt to control the chaos around him backfire? Will Tate's rebellion escalate into a tragedy that mirrors his own father's losses? The emotional stakes couldn't be higher. The final layer of intrigue comes from the moral questions that the trailer teases. Every action Casey takes in Marshals is not just about justice, it's about grappling with what it means to survive, protect, and avenge. The arrival of new allies, enemies, and love interests ensures that nothing is predictable. Every decision carries consequences, every interaction a potential pivot point in Casey's path. And as the trailer leaves us with images of tension, uncertainty, and grief, one question burns brighter than all the rest. In a world that has taken everything from him, can Casey Tate find trust, love, and redemption, or will the weight of his losses finally crush him?
Casey Tate's world, once filled with fleeting peace, is now overshadowed by a storm of grief, anger, and unrelenting responsibility. The Marshals' last seen trailer makes it brutally clear this is no ordinary lawman's journey. Monica's loss isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a catalyst that will drive Casey back into a life of danger and moral complexity. For years, viewers saw Casey navigate the violent but structured life of a Navy SEAL, learning discipline, loyalty, and control. Yet grief doesn't follow rules. It erodes control, fuels impulsive decisions, and twists even the most disciplined mind into something unrecognizable. In Marshals, Casey is no longer just fighting criminals. He's fighting himself, his memories, and the unbearable weight of loss. Every step he takes on this path is a question. Will he protect his son or let rage guide him? The trailer hints at the arrival of Pete Calvin, Casey's former SEAL team leader, as the person who pulls him back into the law enforcement world. Pete isn't just a mentor, he's a mirror,
reflecting Casey's strengths and vulnerabilities in a way no one else can. Pete's presence underscores the tension between past and present, the discipline of a soldier, the instincts of a protector, and the heartbreak of a man who has lost his anchor in life. Together, they will navigate dangerous missions, confront criminals who have no mercy, and face moral dilemmas that blur the line between justice and vengeance. But at the center of it all is Casey's unresolved grief. Every action is punctuated by the memory of Monica, every decision weighted by the question of whether he is living for her memory or simply trying to numb the pain of her absence. Will he ever find balance, or is this cycle of loss and retaliation unstoppable? Tate's role amplifies the emotional stakes. Unlike Casey, Tate is a child unprepared for the harsh realities surrounding him. The trauma he has endured, kidnapping, exposure to violence, and the constant instability of his family life has already shaped him into a young boy carrying burdens far beyond his years. Monica's absence is seismic. The trailer suggests moments of rebellion, anger, and distance between father and son, emphasizing that Tate's grief is raw and unfiltered. Casey's struggle as a parent, now intensified by Monica's death, will dominate the emotional core of Marshals. How can he guide a child through loss when he himself is barely holding on? And what happens when Tate begins to make his own dangerous choices, testing the limits of Casey's protection and patience? Marshals also introduces new allies and potential distractions that complicate Casey's journey. The trailer teases intriguing characters who may offer support, guidance, or even challenge his focus. Friends like Thomas and Mo, whose wisdom and experience with the Yellowstone world helped shape Casey's understanding of culture, honor, and resilience, are likely to play pivotal roles in helping him navigate this storm. Their presence could be the only force strong enough to counterbalance Casey's spiraling grief and prevent him from being consumed by the darkness surrounding him. But their guidance will not be easy or predictable. In moments of tension, Casey may resist their advice, struggle against their moral compass, or even push them away entirely. Will their support be enough to save him? Or is Casey destined to face this trial alone, driven by vengeance and loss? The stakes of Marshals aren't limited to Casey and Tate. Every decision, every confrontation, and every emotional choice ripples through the lives of those around them. The trailer shows flashes of action, yes, but these aren't just thrilling sequences. They are reflections of inner turmoil, tests of loyalty, and moral challenges. When Casey faces a threat, the audience feels the weight of every loss he has endured, every parent-child bond tested, and every relationship shattered by violence. The tension is relentless. Can Casey pursue justice without losing himself entirely? And if he fails, who pays the ultimate price? The criminals he hunts, or the family he is trying to protect? Perhaps the most haunting